On the 10th of May, 1940, the Germans started the invasion of the Benelux. In this video, it will specifically focus on Belgium. So, on May 10th, 1940, the Germans started invading Belgium and the rest of the Benelux under the plan made by Erich von Manstein, Operation Fall Gelb. The German Wehrmacht, also known as the German Heer, started the invasion through the Ardennes in the eastern part of Belgium. The German plan was to cut straight down through the under-defended Ardennes and reach the French port of Dunkirk. With this move, the Germans believed that they could encircle the Allied forces and squeeze them out of Belgium and northwestern France. The combined force of the British, French, and Belgians was 144 divisions, while the Germans could only get 141 divisions. On the first day of the attack, the German Luftwaffe bombed the Belgian air bases in the area. This was because, at the time, Belgium had 957 serviceable military planes to their disposal that could destroy the Nazi plans. This bombardment had some success, taking out around 30 planes. Later that day, a small amount of German army and panzer units pushed into Belgium from the north. The Allies believed that this was the main German force. They were determined to move the best of their troops to the front. Between the 10th and 12th of May, the French, British, and Belgian troops focused on getting to the Germans. They had fallen for the trap. As soon as the Allied units reached their designated location, the Germans launched their rail attack. Army Group A would carry out the German surprise attack into the Ardennes and to the coast, whereas Army Group B, commanded by Fedor von Bock, would break off from Army Group A and get central Belgium. On the 11th, the Fallschirmjäger, the airborne troops, landed by the Eben Amel fortress and within 24 hours managed to capture it. This was the real main attack. This blow was very important because without capturing this fort, all of this planning and progress would fall in vain. During Army Group B's push, the largest tank battle of the European theater occurred, the Battle of Hanut. The Battle of Hanut took place between the 12th and 14th of May, involved 618 to 674 German tanks from the 3rd and 4th Panzer Divisions, and roughly 600 Allied armored fighting vehicles. By the next day, the Germans had lost a lot of their tanks, but the French victory over Hanut was bitter and short-lived. The French had also lost many tanks, and had to string their defenses thinly between Hanut and Louis, making it easy for the Germans to break through and achieve their victory in Hanut. Now having the Gembloux Gap, Army Group B no longer needed Panzer Units 3 and 4. Those units were passed on to Army Group A. Army Group B would now lead their own offensive to the Meuse front. With their newly acquired tanks, Army Group A broke through the Sedan front in the north of France. The race to Paris had started. On that same day, the Dutch surrendered. There was nothing that would stop the German advance. The German 6th Army was still pounding the Liège fortress with attacks, and the 18th Army was trampling the south of Antwerp. On the 18th and 19th of May, Antwerp officially collapsed. Namur's Fort Marchelet fell, Soleil was taken, and on the 21st, Saint-Héribert and Saint-Malo were invaded. Dave, Mézières, and Andois followed on the 23rd. On the 24th, Belgium was mostly invaded. A threatful gap between Ypres and Maine opened up, threatening to lead to a faster downfall of Belgium. Without asking, Gort immediately ordered the 5th and 50th British Infantry to close the gap. That afternoon, Fedor von Bock ordered 4 divisions from the 6th Army to take the Kortrijk region of the Lay. That night, the Germans crossed the river and pushed a 1-mile gap into the Belgian lines. Because of their numbers and because of their air superiority, they defeated the line. On the 26th of May, Operation Dynamo officially started. Now that the main British forces had started leaving, Belgium was at even more serious risk. Later in the day, the ley line was breached, and Nebele, Binkfield, Eschem, and Bristol were invaded. On the 27th, German Army Group A pushed forward until they were 6.4 kilometers away from Dunkirk, leaving their artillery to do the rest. Now, knowing this, the British felt it was too important to lose Dunkirk, so they moved all of their troops to Dunkirk to immediately leave. The losses in the battles from the 26th and 27th of May made Belgium seriously consider capitulation, and on the 28th they did. The total area that they had was only 1,700 kilometers square. In the battle, 6,093 Belgian soldiers died, and 112 Belgian aircraft were lost. 90,000 Frenchmen died, and 1,900,000 French became POWs. 68,111 British men died, and 64,000 British vehicles were lost. Also, 931 British aircraft were lost. On the German side, they lost no Kriegsmarine, but lost 10,232 Wehrmacht and SS officers and regulars, and lost 432 Luftwaffe aircraft.